Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head up to Gothenburg, or Göteborg as you'd say in Swedish, which as I've told you many a time is kind of the craft beer city when it comes to Sweden. And we're going to return to a brewery who I only introduced you to a few months or weeks ago actually. Within the last kind of 2 months or so I reviewed one of the beers from these guys for the first time. So for this one we are going to return to Spike Brewery, and this time we're having a taste of their Come On Feet. So this one is a double West Coast IPA coming in at 8.2%, and very curious about this one. As I've told you before, I've really been missing the West Coast style IPAs recently, you know, with a slightly bigger bitterness and the more kind of caramelly malt bases. There's been so many breweries just doing the new, the New England hazy style IPAs that it does seem that the West Coast beers really have been forgotten about. So it's always cool to go back and try something that's almost a little bit nostalgic. So really looking forward to this. I was impressed with the last beer that I had from these guys, so hopefully this one kind of follows along the same line. So certainly looking forward to this one, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Spike Brewery before. You will hopefully see some more in the near future. They do seem to be fairly prolific with getting beers through Systembolaget. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Spike Brewery then. So as I mentioned to you earlier, Spike Brewery are based in Gothenburg, and they were founded back in 2014 by Mats Westberg, Marcus Oxberg, and also Martin Johansson. And all three had previously worked in the IT sector, but now it's only Mats and Marcus who are still active in the company. So the brewer is Bernardo Gava, who comes from Brazil, and he trained at VLB Institute in Berlin, and he joined the company back in 2017. But at the moment they're producing around 250,000 litres of beer per year, and about 25% of that volume is used for contract brewing other breweries' beers. And these guys can be found in the Gamlestaden area, and they do have an on-site tap room as well, which opens up on Saturdays and also serves food as well. Apparently it's a really nice place to go and check out some different craft beers in Gothenburg. And like I said to you, there's a huge choice of things these days in Gothenburg. You know, there's the likes of Dugges, Bearded Rabbit, Stigbergets are based there as well. You know, there's so many craft breweries popping up around the Gothenburg area. You've got the two brewers bars as well. Beerbibliotek is another one that have been on the go for quite a wee while now. But it really is the craft beer city of Sweden, and these guys are one that I've only kind of been introduced to fairly recently. So if you get the chance to try some of the beers, I highly recommend that you do. And from what I understand, these cans are available. They are available nationwide in Sweden, so do make sure you order up some of these if you haven't tried some of their beers already. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about the brewery just now. As I say, one of the kind of up and coming breweries in Gothenburg. If you want to learn a little bit more, do check out the brewery website. You can follow them on Facebook and keep up to date with them on Instagram as well. And their building, as I say, it's really cool actually. It looks like it's an old depot or something like that they've converted. So if you get the chance to go there when you're in Gothenburg, do have a go at it. If you're particularly interested in IPAs, then this is a brewery that you want to check out. So yeah, I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork on this one before we open up. There you can see it's in one of these kind of 440ml cans. As I say, I don't understand why European breweries do this instead of just putting them in half-litre cans. They like to copy the American measurement system, so this is somewhere along the lines of a US pint, 440ml. Just use half litres like the European breweries do. As I say, it's something that I don't understand. English breweries are doing it these days. I think some of the Scottish breweries have even started doing this too. But yeah, there you can see, there is the Spike Brewery symbol on this one. All of their beers do have a fairly this kind of modern, almost like newspapery, I don't even know how you would describe this artwork. Peter over at the Clueless Drinker is the one who is probably the best placed person to tell you. This one is actually a vegan approved beer as well. I've just noticed that little vegan symbol there. And of course, don't drink if you're pregnant, as Harry, the Harry at Blue Nose Beer Reviews always likes to remind you. But like I say, 8.2% double IPA called Come On Feet. So let's get this guy out then and we'll get on with the tasting. You can see it is someone walking in this one, so maybe it's just a tribute to people's feet, I don't know. But yeah, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. So yeah, Ooh, that smells good when you open it up. Some really nice fruity notes coming out of this one. Not sure what hops they would have used in this. Thought going through my head of maybe a little bit of mosaic as I opened it up there. Doesn't say on the website, of course, what hops and things they used in this one, so we can play a game of guess the hops with this beer, as I always like to do. So yeah, as you can see with this one, it's poured a nice, bright, goldeny yellow colour, this one. It's actually, if I hold it up to the light, it actually becomes a little bit more orange. I'm not sure how well you're going to see that. I'll just turn the light on behind me at the moment. Maybe you can see it a little bit better now. There you go. Nice little bit of orange there. I forgot to do that before I opened up this beer. That was a bit silly. But yeah, nice orangey. Yeah, nice sort of orangey that colour, this one. I can see the light coming through that at the back. It's got a nice rich orange to it, but mainly more of a yellow colour, I would say. There was a solid finger of a frothy white head on this one. It has become a little bit more bumpy since the head has just kind of settled down, but nothing really surprising in terms of appearance. This beer does have a little bit of transparency to it, but you can see it still does have a little bit of haze to it, but nowhere near as hazy, of course, as you would expect from a New England IPA, and that's, you know, that is par for the course when it comes to these West Coast IPAs. But one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, a few little ones going up towards the bottom of the head. But yeah, so let's have a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on with this one. Ooh, so a little bit of, definitely a little bit of an orangey tangerine note coming out of this one. Making me think a little bit about mosaic, maybe. Yeah, there's a little bit, you can pick up some nice kind of bready malts in this. I do wonder if there's a little bit of two-row malt in here or something like that. There's a little bit of a kind of bready note base to this one, a little bit of a caramelly biscuit sort of thing, some slightly stronger, slightly sweeter brown sugars coming out of this beer as well, I would say. Does definitely have a bit good biscuity presence to it, or cookies as the Americans would say. I don't know how, the Swedes probably know both words, to be honest. They'll learn a little bit of proper English and American English, as we like to say. Although I can't talk, I'm Scottish, we don't speak English properly anyway. But yeah, nice nice good mix of aromas in the malt base there. Bready notes, a little bit of biscuity, cookie sweetness, and a little bit of kind of a slightly sweeter caramel. It's not toasted or anything, it does have a little bit of that kind of sweetness to it. On top of that though, there's a good little bit of a nice floral aromaticity. It's almost a little bit spicy actually, which is interesting. A little bit of grassy presence too. But on the fruity side of things, I think tangerine oranges. When I opened this up, I did have some kind of feeling that there might have been a little bit of a kind of mosaic presence this one. I was getting a little bit of tangerine orange. Yeah, in the can. Just checking the date on this one, because I think this one, it is still quite fresh on this one. I think when I'm having this one, it's about 6 weeks old. So yeah, it's not quite as fresh as some of the ones I've had, right enough. But yeah, nice little bit of yeah, oranges, a little bit of mango-y kind of note, maybe a little touch of passion fruit. There is a tropical element to this one. But yeah, oranges, tangerines, I think mosaic, a little bit of mango-y, passion fruity kind of thing. Maybe a little bit of lemon, there could, I don't know. I'm actually really not sure about any other hops in this one other than the mosaic. It was the mosaic that really came to mind. It could well be single hopped right enough. But yeah, as I always say, take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this one before we get stuck in. That's always half the experience when it comes to craft beer and whiskey and sake and things like this. But I guess without further ado, let's have a taste of this one. So this one is the Come On Feet Double West Coast IPA at 8.2% from Spike Brewery up in Gothenburg. One of the really up and coming Gothenburg breweries from what I hear. So let's get stuck in. Slange, skål. Oh yeah, that's pretty nice actually. Let's just get the last little bit of this in. So yeah, with this beer then, it's really interesting. There's a good mix of fruity qualities to this one. Yeah, as I always say, let your mouth kind of open the beer up a little bit before you start dissecting it. But the malt base in this one is kind of pretty much what I would expect. There's a nice little bit of that pale malty quality, just blanket in the middle of your palate. On top of that, And you can feel there is definitely some of that sort of biscuity, McVitie's digestive sort of sweetness to the beer, and right in the centre of your palate there is a little bit more of a lighter kind of caramel sort of thing in there as well, a slightly sweeter caramel too. It's not quite as sweet as some of the West Coast IPAs I've come across. The malt base for me does lean a little bit more towards that bready side of things rather than being overly sweet, but it is still nice actually, but as I say, not quite as sweet as some of the American IPA malt bases I've come across. But I would say the more and more you drink of this beer, the slightly sweeter it does get. We'll see how we get on with that. But yeah, like I say, mainly a pale malty base on this one, a little bit of a biscuity sweetness. When you go a little bit further in, from the back, the sides of your palate into the middle of your tongue, a little bit more of a biscuity presence, and then a slightly stronger kind of caramel flavour in the middle there, and that will be covering up some of the boozy notes from this beer. 8.2%. It's kind of middle ground, I would say, for a double IPA. I always would have said that a double IPA is somewhere between like 7.5 and 9% ABV, and this one, I guess, is right smack in the middle of those two kind of numbers. But yeah, I like what this one is doing. The thing I've really missed about these West Coast IPAs is the bigger hoppy bitterness, and this one certainly does deliver on that. So yeah, let's focus on the hops on this one a little bit then. So back corners of the palate, a little touch of earthiness there. As you come further forward, that smooths out a little bit. Then you start to get a nice sort of spicy floral aromaticity on the front corners of your palate. I do wonder if there's maybe been a little bit of Chinook or something used in here. Chinook, or it could, because it's quite a dark dankness in there. I do wonder if there is a little touch of that Chinook in there just to give that. But then round the very front curve of the palate, it's a little bit lighter and more grassy. The two hops that come to mind for this one could be a little bit of Columbus, because it does have just that kind of distinctive kind of spicy note to it. Columbus is a very good bittering hop if you want to get a good bit of IBU out of your beer. But at the same time, this one does have a little bit of the dankness that you'd maybe expect from Chinook, so it's quite interesting actually. I have to say that this beer is one that really does kind of test your palate in some ways as a beer taster, or if you particularly if you like to play the guess the hop games that I do. And of course, sometimes you can be completely wrong with these things. But yeah, it's nice how everything in this beer is going together. So on the fruity side of things then, as I always say, behind the front curve of the palate you just get that little oily bubble on that comes out just behind the front curve of your tongue, and that's where these nice juicy fruity esters come out of the beer. Yeah, so for me, I do wonder if there's a little bit of I do wonder about Chinook, because there is a little bit of a darker grapefruit flavour there just sitting on the front part of the palate. On top of that, I think there's a little bit of a tangerine orange thing. If you come a little bit further forward on your tongue, for me, there's a little bit of this orangey quality there, but on the very tip of your tongue there's a little bit of a blueberry note as well, and that's really making me think Mosaic, plus the fact the beer also has a little bit of earthiness in the back corners of the palate, and those three things for me are always three things you get from Mosaic, so I would be very curious to know about that. I think they've used a base hop on this one, such as maybe Chinook or Columbus, to give it a little bit of the spiciness here, and I think there is something that's grapefruity in this one, which it could well be Chinook. As I say, Chinook will give you some nice dank piney resins and a little bit of a kind of a grapefruity sort of thing, and it does have a little bit of a grapefruity presence. And there is a little element of a tropical fruit to this one, like a sort of, I don't know if it's quite passion fruit, it's maybe like a sort of mango-y passion fruit or something. There could be a little bit of a kind of Citra or a Galaxy or something in there. I'm really not sure about this one. This one, it's got a good mix of things. I think for me mainly it's orange that's coming out of it, but I think there's a little bit of a mango-y passion fruit sort of thing coming out with this beer as well. But I'll say straight away, this is a good beer. If you like a good West Coast IPA, this one is definitely like that. It's got a mainly smooth malt base to it, though. It's definitely not as sweet in the malt base as some of these American double IPAs that you're going to get. But yeah, I think there's a... It could be Simcoe, it could be Galaxy that's in there. I think there's a little... It could be a little bit that. I'm not sure if that flavour is dark enough to be passion fruit. It might be a little bit more mangoish or something, but mainly it does have a nice little bit of that tropical fruit in there, just a little bit more towards the front of the tongue. I think you get a little bit of a tangerine orange, and on the very tip of your palate you're getting some blueberries. I think there's mosaic in here, and I think there's something else, but it's got a good range of fruity things. It's got a little bit of tropical fruit, it's got a little bit of that more oily orange to it, but the main thing is it's a nice beer, and I like what they've done with this one. It has pretty much everything you would expect from the style, just not quite as sweet in the malt base as some of the American ones, as I've repeated a few times in this video. But in terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say mid-bodied, carbonation's quite smooth. The mouthfeel leans a little bit more towards the oily side of things. If they put a little bit more caramel or something in this, it would really work beautifully just because of the way they've got the mouthfeel in this beer. Good bit of hoppy bitterness. I would guess it's somewhere around 60, maybe 70 IBUs, this beer. It does have a good whack in it, and that, you know, Columbus, or that thing I wasn't sure about whether it was Columbus or Chinook in there. I'm leaning more towards Columbus, incidentally. I think, you know, it helps. That really comes out from those hops, and it does have a nice little bit of a bitter kick to it, this beer. Some juicy fruitiness, mainly a smooth malt base, not quite as sweet as you might expect from some of these double IPAs, West Coast double IPAs in particular. But as I've said, another very, very strong beer from the guys at Spike Brewery. I'd really love to try something on the darker side of things from these guys. But for me, this is certainly a really nice beer, and I'm glad that I was able to try it. So yeah, if you get the chance to try some of these Spike Brewing beers, definitely have a go at them, because they're doing West Coast IPAs, they're doing New England IPAs. Have a go at whichever IPA you like, and I think you're going to get something very, very solid from them. So yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. So this one was the Come On Feet, a West Coast IPA, or a West Coast double IPA, sorry, at 8.2% from Spike Brewery near the Gamlestaden area in Gothenburg here in Sweden. Another very, very solid beer from these guys, and I look forward to trying more things from them over the next little while. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this one in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from the Spike Brewery as well. Hopefully I can get up there and have a look at their tap room at some point. That would be really cool to do. But yeah, check out my social media, and I will catch you guys very soon with more beer reviews. The Come On Feet, 8.2% double West Coast IPA from Spike Brewery in the Gamlestaden area in Gothenburg here in Sweden. Until the next time, it's Slange just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. Make sure you try some of their beers if you can. Have a go at this one. Slange, skål.